Welcome to another episode of Eye Catch Killers. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to pay homage to a very humble man who has helped more people than he would ever know. If you're a regular listener to the Eye Catch Killers podcast, you've heard a whole range of guests talk about today's guest and how he had a positive impact on their lives. I understand he has, because he's also had a positive impact on my life when I was at my lowest point. There is something special about this man that brings out the best in people. Today's guest is none other than the legendary boxing trainer Johnny Lewis. Johnny has trained multiple world champions, who's also a trainer for the Australian Rugby League team, has an Order of Australia medal, and was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. It's not the success Johnny has had in the sporting field that makes him great. It's the things he does behind the scenes, helping people, that makes him so special. Today, at the time of his 80th birthday, we're going to hear from a whole range of people who Johnny has impacted on in a positive way. Now, Johnny doesn't know that. He thinks he's just in the studio for a one-on-one interview with me. Little does he know we've got a whole stack of people outside the studio waiting to come in to pay homage to the way Johnny's impacted on their life. Call it the poor man's This Is Your Life, whatever. It's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all these people talk about Johnny. The Eye Catch Killers podcast was a fresh start for me, as I left policing behind and started a new life. Over the years, we've laughed together, cried, and shared some powerful moments. Welcome to Eye Catch Killers. Johnny Lewis, welcome to Eye Catch Killers.
Nice to be here, Gary.
Well, for years I've wanted to invite you on, but it's been an amazing time, all the people I've spoken to on Eye Catch Killers. I'm talking people from the broadest range of backgrounds, upbringings, good guys, bad guys, and your name gets dropped so many times as having an influence on their life in a positive way.
That's very nice, and obviously they must have meant something to me to get on board with them, and I'm very proud of the people I know.
Yeah. Well, you seem to, people seem to rely on you. People seem to, you give them something back every time you come into circulation with a person. Has that just been part of who you are your whole life?
Yeah, it's just like when you talk about that, I sort of undoubtedly people that I've helped have helped me, and you put it together, and that's what friends are for. And it's not how much I can do for you and how much you can do for me. It's what we can do for each other.
It's a simple philosophy, but it rewards, doesn't it? If you help people out, invariably, if you've got that good nature, it comes back in some way.
Oh, very much so.
Right.
Yep.
Well, look, up front, before I get into your full life story, because I think people find it fascinating, you grew up in Erskineville, and no doubt you're going to die in Erskineville.
It's cheaper that way.
And Erskineville boy through and through, and we're even recording in the studio in Erskineville because we can't take the Erskineville out of you. So, but I want to speak on a very personal point of view, that from how you came into my life, and we've known each other now for 3 or 4 years. It was shortly after I'd left the police, and the world wasn't very good for me at that point in time. There was all the COVID shit going on, and gyms were shut. I was no longer allowed to associate with any of my work colleagues. I walking along the street, virtually kicking stones, and I walked past you, and you said good day, as you normally do. And I walked past, and I was kicking myself, thinking, why the hell didn't I stop and have a chat with you? So anyway, life goes on, and then I bumped into you again, and we had a chat just near Stanley Lynch's club, the Erskineville Bowling Club, just out the front of that, and we talked for about half an hour. And you said to me, because you were looking at me not knowing who I really was, obviously you forgot you worked a corner of a fighter that I fought, but clearly you don't remember that fight.
You must have won
it. But I did shake your hand. I must admit, it was like a boyhood dream coming true that I'm in the ring fighting, and that Johnny Lewis is in the corner. You weren't in my corner, but you're in a corner. But when that conversation that we had, when you said, oh, look, mate, you got a lot of support. You have no idea how much support you got out here on the street. And this was when all that shit blew up about the William Tyrrell case and me. And that meant so much to me. Then you told me, why don't you come down and do some training? And I was caught up in my little insular world, just training on my own, walking and all that, and I just didn't really want to do it. And I bumped into you again, and you basically dared me to come. You said, "Oh look, you said you could throw some punches. Why don't you come down to training?" So I came into training, and I think we've been training on average 6 days a week since that time.
Gary, it's a marvellous thing. I pride myself on my association with you, but everyone that we get down there, sometimes we get up to 20. There's not one bad apple in the case. Everyone there, they really, really love you, and I'm sure that you reciprocate, and we're one big happy family down there.
Yeah, well, and you're the genesis of that. You bring a lot of people together, and you've even introduced me to some people that come completely different walks of life, as in on the criminal side and myself, and you've brought us together, and it's been good speaking about that. And even as late as last night or yesterday afternoon, we were together, and you said, "Are you okay?" Because you could see I was a bit down on something because I'm going through something at the moment. But those little gestures that make such a difference. So I'm saying to you, thank you for helping me when I needed help. So,
as I said, mate, I know that anyone else there that needed a bit of a helping hand, you'd be the first one in us. We're all the same.
Yeah. Well, now here's the difficult part. I've lied to you about today on the podcast. You can punish me tomorrow at training for setting you up this way, but I checked with everyone very close to you, and it was all right to do this. So just take it out on me tomorrow at training if I fucked up here. On that note, to understand what we're doing here, it's your 80th birthday coming up very shortly, and we're going to do something a little bit different on the I Catch Killers podcast, and I apologise that I didn't forewarn you, but we've got a whole range of people outside that want to come and speak about how Johnny Lewis has impacted on their life. If you're hearing the door squeak, open and close, or whatever, it's because we've got a whole range of people outside wanting to come in and speak to you. So I apologise for the background noise, but it's all happening here at the studios. So we're going to have a bit of fun with you today, Johnny. So just not at you, with you, and just celebrate some of the stuff.
Whatever, mate. Right.
Some of the stuff that you've done. Perhaps we bring in our first guest.
What are they doing to you?
And look, what a stylish bloke. Peter Battye, welcome to I Catch Killers. And I thought it was appropriate. Again, Johnny, he's outdressed us. Look at it. Such a stylish man.
I would think of nothing better than to see Peter come in like that, and my old school captain.
Yeah. How about that?
Now,
that's something else, isn't it?
Long time ago, guys, and you've known each other for well over 60 or more years.
Yep.
Pete, in those early years, do you ever think Johnny would have such a big footprint in the Australian, we say sport, but it's just, he's almost iconic, the Johnny Lewis story?
No way at all did I ever think of that, because Johnny was, 2 years below in the other class. I was more with Bobby, his brother, and I didn't see any potential in too many people at Newtown.
Only the strong survive.
It was a pleasant school. Everything went along rather smoothly. It's pity they didn't have a roll of honour. I think the roll of honour was a blackboard which they cleaned every day. But yeah, sorry.
So with Johnny, there was something, and we were having a chat the other day, and you said something about an interaction between you and Johnny all those years ago when you were school kids, and that he hadn't forgotten it when we talk about the football jersey. Yeah,
that was a strange thing. We met many years later. Johnny was making his mark in his profession, and I was doing my house guest in mine, and it wasn't until maybe the 90s that I bumped into Johnny at Calucci's, and and John doesn't forget anything. He has an elephant type mind, and he brought up the fact that late in my my school. No, not the school.
State jumper.
The state jumper. That's right. The New South Wales schoolboy state jumper, the pale blue one with the motif to play in.
Sky blue.
Yeah, and Johnny brought that up all those years later. That's 50 years later, so that threw me over. But also, it started us to get to know each other again, and we'd get calls. Johnny would ring me when he's in the States, and I'd be in the States. I'd be showing my frocks, and you'd be doing your thing in Vegas or somewhere. And we'd try and get together when we could, but that wasn't to be. But then I joined that band of warriors that you have in Erskineville, which was the greatest moment of my life.
The greatest bunch of misfits you could ever find.
Oh, far from it. If that's misfits, it's got me. Those wonderful mornings when it was darkish and people would just start arriving from across the field, coming through the gates very quietly, and you'd hear the rustling of the putting their gloves on, and then they'd join up and you'd hear the boxing start. This is cathartic, absolutely
there's
cathartic.
Something magic about it. Johnny, what's someone like a relationship that goes as far back as you and Peter? What's that mean to you?
Well, there's an old saying, it takes a very long time to grow a very good friend. I think Pete's the only one in Australia older than me at the moment, but it's a bit disappointing for me when I look over and I see how well Peter looks. He's scrubbed up like an 18-year-old man over there, and I'm getting to the old prune age. But good friend, and I don't take our friendship lightly. It's
it's been fabulous. It's the whole all these years now. It's instilled an amazing love of going there to do what I do, but also listening to Johnny, and having chats from time to time on the phone. Whether he rings me or I ring him, we sort out a lot of things. And he's Piscean too, which helps. He's been a joy.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you for coming on. And I know, Johnny, and I say this with all the people that are turning up. Pete might be the last one, who knows? But with all the people turning up, I couldn't even finish the sentence before these people said I'm in, when I told them what we're doing. So I think that's testament to you. And here's Peter, seen you through your whole life, and he still thinks so highly of it. So thanks, Peter.
Pleasure. See you, Johnny.
See you, Peter.
I go out to the makeup kit now and they can take it all off.
Johnny, we just wouldn't be able to pull off that ensemble, that outfit.
Mate, such a wonderful...
Don't look too far. See you, Johnny.
Okay.
See you, Johnny.
All right, now we might... I've got a video message I want to play to you. Now, you're linked, whether you like it or not, with Jeff Fenech. And Jeff Fenech, if people don't know, and I doubt there'd be many people in Australia that don't know the name, is a 4 times world boxing champion. He got that 4th belt allocated to him retrospectively. He's somewhat of a legend, an icon in Australian sport, and one of the greatest boxers we've ever had.
Hey Johnny, I know you're just about to turn 80. I'm just about to turn 60. As a 17-year-old boy, I walked in the UWCYC and I don't think I'd be here today without you. So your impact and your input into my life was like no other. I'm the person I am, the athlete that I was because of you. I love you.
Jeff, it seems to me that boxing was just part of the journey that you and Johnny went on.
Yeah, the funniest thing was, Gary, like I said, Just walked in that gym one day, never boxed in my life. And I wasn't sure if that shifty old bastard was lying to me or not, but he said, I just got bashed and mate, you were really, really good. You should come back again. And I thought to myself, yeah, like hell, I'm not coming back. But I went home that night and I didn't want to it wasn't nothing to do with Johnny because I didn't know him. But it was my self-esteem. I said yes. I thought to myself, if I don't go back, that's not what I represent. So I went back and after a few days we sat down, we began to talk and Johnny set me these goals that I might have thought were very, very difficult, but obviously Johnny believed they were achievable and I became state champion, I became Australian champion, Oceania champion, came third in the world in Rome after just over a dozen amateur fights and I'd done things that if you ask anybody from my neighbourhood or anybody that knew me, if they thought I was capable of doing it, it would have been a no. But like I said, that was one man who not only believed in me, but he set me on a path. And the path that he set me on, it wasn't alone. I wasn't alone. I ate with him every single day. We had dinner, we met in the morning, we spoke, and he absolutely changed my life. I went from, I was never lonely because I had lots of friends. I was in a gang and I got in trouble a lot. And so it wasn't that I was looking for something else, but I found something and I found a combination. I found a sport and a human that was without doubt second to none.
What did it feel like walking into the ring with someone like Johnny Lewis in your corner?
I always felt invincible and I had reason to feel invincible. Like I said, I sparred guys who were 20 kilos heavier than me, every single day, and I'd never had problems with anybody boxing, but knowing he was there meant I felt safe. Johnny, I don't know, people talk about Wayne Bennett, and I feel the similarities. Wayne coached a team, although Johnny coached all the young boys. Johnny's impact on individuals, again, he never trained as many people as because he might have trained 5 or 6 at a time, and his impact on a person is like nobody else can really have. He's had that impact just by travelling on kangaroo tours and having fun with the footy players, but as individual training with him and just about living with him, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's something that you live for and you would die for. I'm taking the ball for Johnny any day of the week. I still would. I love him, and I'm just so happy that you guys are doing this for most probably one of Australia's greatest ever Australians. There's greatness in all different areas, but if you put all them areas together and then look what Johnny's done, I think that he outshines Jeff Fenech, he outshines Dawn Fraser, he outshines all of us as being Australia's greatest human.
There's something special about Johnny in that he seems to bring out the best in everyone, regardless of what level you're in. It might even be sport. I'm talking life. People seem to gravitate towards him. Did you notice that with all the time you spent with him?
Definitely. Humanity, he's everywhere. Anyone who went out with him, it was always a laugh and fun. We always had to pay the bill, of course. Johnny had every joke up his sleeve to get away with that.
We've dug something up on Johnny here. Are you saying he's got,
He's got long pockets and very, very short arms. But no, look, he always had a good joke or a good excuse why he done it. And I learned after about 50 years that it was a skill, not an excuse. But like I said, being around people and being around Johnny at the same time was like, I don't know, and I've never had a drug in my life, but I don't know, I've heard of these experiences, these guys being high and being crazy. Well, it was just like being the happiest of happiest, the highest of highest ever. Like I said, I've travelled the world with Johnny and a lot of our friends, Peter and Stresky and so, and man, those experiences can never, ever, ever be defeated. Those experiences can never be put in the same way that we done it. Just being with Johnny, like I said, you wake up in the morning, it was it was always happy, and as soon as you see each other, you were happy, you would laugh, you would be ready to take the mickey out of each other. But it was just an amazing experience and opportunity that I was one of the guys who was truly blessed to have for such a long period of my life.
Does it surprise you he's still, and he's just about to turn 80, turns up at Erskineville Oval at 5:30 every morning and trains a bunch of misfits? Not for anything other than...
Yeah. No, none of that surprises me at all. Johnny's the kind of person that he's so used to doing what he's doing that, and not that he just used it, that he loves it. He loves to see other people happy. And of course, when other people are happy, he feels that. And I mean, I think Johnny gets his longevity and his lifespan out of that. I mean, I'll never forget a story that I heard about Customato when he said that Customato was talking about Mike Tyson, and he said that he would have been dead 10 years earlier if it wasn't for Mike, because he lived because he wanted to see what Mike done.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't just live for Jeff or anybody else. He lives because he knows he's putting life in other people's lives. He's keeping them fit, keeping them healthy, giving them a laugh every morning, and it's, like I said, it was an amazing time in my life, Gary. It was just, I know it can never be replicated. It can, of course we've gone through highs and lows, everybody knows about that, but today, I sit here and I just tell it the way it was and the way in my mind it should still be.
Jeff, the world that you lived in was a tough, violent world. Hard men, it was hard. Yeah, you're fighting for a living. It's the hurting game, and that was the sport. You meet someone like Johnny, and he seems to carry so much respect in that area of tough guys, egos, everything. He's such a humble, quietly spoken guy, but people stop and listen.
Hey, everybody loved him. I'm not sure. I use him as an example again. Wayne Bennett, I don't know if he can crack an egg, I don't know. I love Wayne Bennett. He's an amazing human. But the respect that he gets, and he doesn't have to, I'm sure he knows when to yell and when not to. And Johnny's exactly the same. Johnny would know who to, use that aggression with and who to use that politeness with, because he knew what you were as a person, and I think that's what identifies and makes people who they are when they can sit down and say, well, this guy is this kind of person, this guy is this kind of person, this guy's, and we've got to treat them all differently. And Johnny, from day one, looked after us all differently, and I mean, for him to be able to get me to leave what I was doing that I believed in, and to totally disregard, I don't mean disregard my friends as my friends, but to disregard what I was doing and to be able to be locked up in my unit for 24 hours a day until I trained, or when I lived in Erskineville, I'd sleep, train, eating. Yeah, for him to be able to get me to do that, I think it was most probably if somebody had told me somebody could do that to me, I'd give them everything I've got today.
Yeah. Well, it's that combination, you and Johnny, names are etched together. It must be something you're very proud of, to be linked to a man like Johnny Lewis.
Definitely so. Like I said, the more I think of it, the more lucky I know that I am. I've got a letter upstairs that Johnny wrote to me, when my father passed away in 1988, and I've kept it because it's just so special. And I don't know, it just, like I said, when somebody's special, they're special, and sometimes, like I said, you can't put a word on it to really describe it. But like I said, if you sit me down and you sit all these great athletes that have done great things, and like I said, greatness doesn't just come in the field of sport. Greatness comes in the workshop, in this, in that, and like I said, I think Johnny is more deserved than anybody, maybe being one of the greatest Australians ever.
Last thing you'd want to say to Johnny, he's in a studio now. We're doing a podcast and we've surprised him. We've got all these people coming in. What would you want to say to Johnny if he was standing in front of you right now?
I would just tell him that I love him. I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't have what I have without him. I'm turning 60 or turning 80. Hopefully we'll be turning 100 and I'll be turning 80, and we'll still be able to be together and have all our friends around us and be blessed the way you are tonight with all your friends, and I'll be with you on your birthday to make sure I celebrate with you, Johnny. I love you so much.
First up, Jeff did everything he could to be here. He's actually in hospital, and he was trying to get the time changed. It was for an operation he had to have, and he couldn't change it. But on the basis of that, he was so devastated, he said, can you come round and at least record a message? And that's the message he recorded. How does it make you feel, Johnny?
Oh, Jeff always made me feel, listening to him there, he went right back to the day one, so to speak, and that was the most wonderful journey I've ever been on. And there's so many little things I could tell you, but one thing was that when Jeff was asked by Morty together that he could get him a world title fight. We'd had 5 fights.
Yeah.
And no, I'd never heard of anything so stupid in my life. And but anyhow, Morty kept on throwing the bait out, and Jeff wanted it, no doubt, and that made it a bit harder when he wanted it and I didn't want it. I just never in the history of the sport had it been done and so forth. And anyhow, fast forward life, and we fired him, and when Jeff won that, against the odds, and the way he won it, I'd never, ever, ever thought that I would train a world champion. Yeah. And how far he'd already gone in such a short time, it just shows you that how special Jeff was.
Yeah.
In the fight game, very hard, different skills and toughness and whatever. Jeff had the full Monty.
Yeah.
He had it all.
I've heard you say when you're talking about other boxers that no one trained as hard as he or gave as much as he did to his training.
Yeah, he just when Jeff wants something, he's going to get it, and it's not just about Jeff, because we finished up. We went over to Fiji and had a little training camp over there, because we were copping a little bit of flack putting him in this fight and so forth, and just got away with it. When we came back, we had like inside a week to really get ready for the fight. And they had a panel that they asked about would Jeff Fenech win this fight, and every one of them said no, he wouldn't win it, except Jimmy Carruthers. Jimmy Carruthers said he liked what he saw, and I remember I said to Jeff, when we're in the dressing room, mate, for God's sake, mate, win this fight or they'll hang me tomorrow. And he said, they won't be hanging you, mate. And he went out there, and it was an amazing thing. Every fight, every preparation was different, but so enjoyable. Yeah. It was
Well, it was a journey that you guys went on together. It was, the whole country was following it. Yeah, in the 80s, that was the big ticket item. What Jeff was doing, and you were with him the whole time. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. And I'll reiterate, Jeff is so disappointed he can't be here, but I'm sure he'll be catching up with you soon. All right, who have we got here? Stan the man. What?
Stunner.
Say something, Brad.
Take a seat. Okay, I'm gonna. Where do I take this, Stan? We've been looking with all the people who've come in. Haven't had anyone say anything bad about Johnny. Have you got some?
Why?
Okay, just to put it in the picture here, these are the two guys that are Johnny and Stan, and turn up every morning.
And Jack.
And Jack. We can't forget Jack. Turn up every morning at 5:30 to open the gym up and train. And I've got to say, the conversations between these two make me laugh more than any other conversations. They make training pass very quickly. Stan, what have you got to say about Johnny? Give us some shit.
You got a week, have you? No, look, I've known Johnny for quite a while. I used to walk every morning up at Erskineville, and I'd walk past, and you'd be sitting there having a Vegemite and peanut butter sourdough bread every morning and a cup of coffee. And we sat down. I knew Johnny, but I'm not so close. And I'd sat down to start talking. And we've got to become really close friends. You know, we go out sometimes when we go to the movies or we go out to East Gardens, have a bit of lunch or whatever, you know, and we've become really, really close, which is how I met you, through Johnny.
Yeah. And look, I want Johnny, while we're live here, he seems to pick on you during the training sessions. Now, Johnny assures me he's only doing that to make you the best man you can be. Johnny, do you want to talk about Stan and his training?
Look, when Stan came over, I was shocked. The speed, the balance, the heart. Oh, mate, he had it all. But I don't know, somehow he lost it quickly.
He picks on me, Gary, because I'm the oldest.
Well, that takes the pressure off the rest of us.
No, Stan's a good friend. A lot of people are best friends with Stunner here, and he's it wouldn't be the same if him coming over, give it another dimension, and his early morning feuds with Jack.
Love it.
Unbelievable. But they love each other, and we all love Stunner over there. Very important to us.
Yeah, but one thing is, when at least we have a laugh, you know. It is serious, but then again, there's a little bit of banter either way on the side, you know. We have a laugh and joke with everybody, and, you know, a little talk, so it's one happy family sort of thing, you know.
I remember, Johnny, you said one time we were training and there was a NRL team, a group of players coming in, and you said, look at them, they don't even look like they're enjoying themselves. You've got to be able to enjoy yourself training. Is that part of the secret with what you get out of people?
Yeah.
Ability to have a laugh and laugh at yourself, laugh at each other.
Yeah, undoubtedly that's our biggest asset, fun.
Yeah. Now, Stan, you're around the same age bracket. Is it true that Johnny's a bit of a stud around the Erskineville area?
If he is, he belongs on a football boot. No, I don't know. He's a little bit older than me, just quietly, but well, at least, you know.
Because he talks about your reputation.
Oh,
but anyway, I won't give him up.
No.
Stan, last thing you want to say to Johnny?
No.
Before you abuse him tomorrow morning?
No. We're great friends, and I hope to remain great friends as long as we're both alive, you know. Yeah. I love the bloke, yeah.
Yeah, no, nicely put. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Stanley.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, see who we've got next up. I have no idea who's going to walk through these doorways. Johnny? Matt Nable. Actor extraordinaire, footballer. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Johnny.
Pleasure.
Guys, I probably even didn't think this through. You, the show of emotion then between Matt and Johnny that sadly Matt's brother Aaron passed away. Dear brother, loved by his family and loved by Johnny who trained him, and it's still very raw. It's hard to talk about.
Yeah, you know, coming here, I knew this would be emotional, but something I really wanted to do for Johnny and also for myself and my family. You know, the bond that Johnny shared with Aaron and my father, for that matter, was it was very, very special. Johnny grabbed Aaron, got a hold of Azza when he was only, I think, 14, and he'd had one fight. He got beaten, and through Dad, Johnny was doing some stuff at Manly. I think Dad was a strength and conditioner there, and he told Johnny about Aaron, and they started training out at Angel Street in Newtown, and he turned Aaron into an exceptional fighter. You know, Aaron won a national title when he was just 19 years of age. He won I think, the fighter of the tournament. He had enormous ability, but moreover, the bond and the love that grew between Johnny and Aaron through that time was extraordinary, and not unlike for a lot of the fighters Johnny, trained and taught. But there was something special between those two. Aaron looked at Johnny with such a great confidence and trusted Johnny with everything. As I gave it away, as a young man as well. I think he had his last fight when he was 22 in 2000. He was really hoping to go to the Olympics, and that certainly was something that was on the radar, and he missed out, and he never fought again. But the love and the respect that he had for Johnny was always maintained and overwhelming. And he felt lucky, really lucky to have been such a big part, Johnny to have been such a big part of his life.
Johnny, I'll ask the question, but to see the outpour of emotion and the connection you make with people that you train with and the people that are involved in your life, love hurts. It can be painful, but
when I speak of Aaron, I saw a wonderful fighter. The world was waiting for him. You see someone like Aaron, or maybe 1 in a million or whatever. Matty spoke about the when he fought in the Australian titles, and he was so dominant, and there were some really good classy fighters that year, and this young kid held aloft the fighter of the tournament. To me, to sit next to his dad, it was as good as winning lotto. They're just two decent people, and I think that was only a minute for me with Aaron and his dad, and they'd come over from Manly, and we'd go and have something to eat, and Dave used to like me telling jokes, and I think Dave is one of the greatest people I've ever met.
And that means a lot coming from you, Johnny, and the amount of people you've met. Matt, just what is it about Johnny that people gravitate towards? And it doesn't matter who does it. It can be the biggest gangster. It can be a politician, sportsman. What is it?
Honesty. Johnny's honest, and laconic, and has a way of drawing people in to his energy and his charisma that is infectious. And there aren't too many people that I know of or have ever met that have an ability to connect with everyone socially, no matter where they're from or who they are. And that's a real gift to be able to speak to someone. Johnny can speak to a QC the same way he can speak to, the most uneducated person, and will treat them exactly the same.
Yeah.
Prestige, where they are, in some sort of social standing or hierarchy, doesn't matter. To Johnny, he treats everyone with the same love and respect that they deserve. And he often sees things, and something that Aaron really held dear to himself is both Johnny and Aaron shared an ability to see those less fortunate than themselves and to be champions for those types of people. Aaron ended up on the wharves and he found his people, he found who he was and why he was. And he fought. Aaron was a champion for those less privileged than himself, and so is Johnny. And that's manifest and on show with the people that Johnny has helped and looked after. And that is one of his great gifts, And look, for me personally, my father is not an easy person to get to know. He's a man of few words.
Yeah.
But for to see the love and the respect that my father has for Johnny is really, really special. We have a funeral tomorrow for Aaron, and there will be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. Johnny will sit with us up the front. And that's what he was to Aaron and to our family. So, it's a very, very special bond. It's something that we've created and have built over a long, long time. And something that's very precious to our family.
Yeah. Well, you encapsulate what Johnny means to you and your family just in what you said there. Johnny, how does it make you feel? Someone like Matt, you know what he's going through right now, and still insisting on making the time to come and see you here. And he was given with plenty of outs. I didn't expect him to turn up, but the fact he's made the effort to turn up, how does that sit with you?
I didn't expect Matt at all to come in. Yeah.
No.
Mate, I wouldn't have missed it, mate. I love you with all our heart, mate. And mate, he as much as you miss him, he'll miss you. I don't know where he is, but he's in a better place than where he got to because of that disease. So I'll share one thing with, and Johnny will attest to this, and I'll say it tomorrow. I called the doctor, Dominic Rowe, who's a champion of MND and at the coalface of this disease and one of the top guys in the world. And last Friday I called him, Friday a week ago, a couple of days before Azza passed, and I said, we've had to stop feeding him. He can't absorb water or food. And his breathing's erratic. His heart rate's soaring. And he said, son, it's over. He's at the end. And he said, but I'll tell you this. He said, I have never met a patient like your brother. He said, he is the toughest human being I have ever encountered, and there's daylight second. And he said, no one will ever forget the fight he put up. Yeah, that was Azza. And a lot of that had to do with things he learned from Johnny and the confidence that Johnny gave him. So we're all blessed. Our family have been blessed to have Johnny in our lives.
Yeah. Well, Matt, look, thank you so much for coming in and taking the time. And,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it all leads to people understand where Johnny's coming from, what he's about. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you, mate. Take care.
Mate. Oh.
Now, We spoke about Matt coming on ages ago, Johnny, and I didn't for the life of me expect him to turn up today. With what he's got on, and Aaron being buried tomorrow, you can see how emotional he is, and but he still made it all the way across here just to say what he thinks about you.
Oh, mate. We'll be right.
Okay. The next surprise we got for you is Steve Crawley. He's head of television at Fox Sport, and he has just been involved in covering of sport throughout his whole career, and you two have a very special relationship.
Oh,
Jesus, where do we find him?
Johnny.
Steve Crawley, welcome to I Catch Killers.
G'day, mate.
Hello.
Hey, Gary.
I've heard a lot of stories, of Johnny stories, that places you've been and things that you've done.
Yep.
You've been heavily involved in sport across all forums, and whether it be league, boxing, everything that rolls with sport.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Johnny's footprint in that environment, but more also a personal account of how you first met Johnny.
Well, that's one of the things. Everyone gives him a rap, right?
Yeah.
The real Johnny, if they really knew, like he's a terrible cheat. When you play him tennis, which we used to play years and years ago when we could both move okay, and his little spin and it's terrible. You play doubles, he'd embarrass you. He'd play well with you, bang you again. Johnny, terrible.
Competitive and inclined to cheat if necessary.
Actually, we used to have the best games, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, we did. Yep. Up the Central Coast.
Yeah.
He bought down in Hardy's Bay, just beautiful area, and Alf spent a lot of time up there, didn't he?
Yeah.
So what's it like when Johnny, with his boxes and you're covering the sporting events, what's Johnny like in those environments? Because they're pressure cooker environments.
Well, as Babe said before, he's got that knack. Everyone's the same, right? It doesn't matter if you're a champion or you're doing your best, as long as you're honest with him, and he'll help you out.
Yeah.
But, the different people, like Johnny loves... If Johnny loves you, he loves you.
Yeah.
You could throw someone off a cliff, Johnny would still love you. Yeah. Like he said to me over the years, he says, he's such a great bloke, and I'll say, but Johnny, didn't he do such and such? And he said, yeah, but he's a great fella. And once you've got Johnny, you've got Johnny.
I've heard that term a lot, and Johnny's introduced me to some interesting people, and the underlying theme is that he's a good fella. What's your memories of travelling and hanging out with Steve?
Look, I think the one thing that I can say is that growing up and mad sport and seeing the great people that on the television set and whatever they did, and knowing Steve the way I did, and to me where Steve got himself, certainly from a lot of hard work, but I remember one time Alan Jones rang me up and he said, that mate of yours, he said, is his name Steve Crawley? And I said, oh yeah. We went over to see him when he was at 2UE, I think it was, and he said to me, that article was the best article I've ever read from an Australian. And it was Steve. I couldn't wait to get on the phone again. And I wasn't aware of Steve's writing skills or anything like that. But together with that and everything else, Fox have got the best bloke they could ever get for it.
So Johnny always gave us the opportunity to write good stories because he'd let you in behind the scenes. Like when Jeff Fenech was at his best, and his best was the best in the world, and when Jeff Harding and all those guys, when he worked with Bob Fulton with the Australian side, when he had a coffee with Changa Langmans, like they're two immortals, right?
Yeah.
But Johnny would allow you into their circle, so if you didn't write well or report well or whatever, I don't know why you wouldn't, because, you had this incredible insight.
Yeah. He does. We're talking like you're not here, Johnny. Don't worry about us. But you do have an ability to introduce people to other people that you think would be worthwhile meeting. What's that about?
quite easy, I think. Just I suppose I only want to know good people, and that's what I do.
But what happens, Gary, is that people are at their best around Johnny, and that's a great trainer, and someone you want your kids or whatever to be around, someone that brings out the best in them.
Yeah, and it's not and this is what I find interesting. You might be able to talk to this, Steve, is that I see Johnny, it doesn't matter what the function is. There could be politicians, there could be musicians, sportsmen, whatever, or just the average working man and woman.
Yeah.
Johnny seems to have a connection with all of them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why.
That's
what we're trying to find out.
No.
This is going to be a long day.
It's a great idea, Johnny. It really is, and you're worthy of it, mate. Good on you.
Because we've had so many people wanting to do this type of thing, Johnny, and when I've heard Steve talk about you guys and your relationship, and I thought it was something that we should bring together. So,
well, thank you.
Steve, thank you very much for
Gary.
coming on. Any parting words to Johnny?
I'll see you on your birthday, mate.
What one? Yeah, lovely to see you, Stephen.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.
See you.
Cheers. We've got another guest that might surprise you that is waiting outside, so if we could bring him in. We're going to find some dirt on you, Johnny. You can't. We're bound to be able to find something on you. Who could it be? Jesus. Jackson Lewis, Johnny's son. Welcome to the Eye Catch Killers.
Thank you.
Hello, Jackson.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
So, Johnny, here it is, your moment of truth. We're going to find out what you're like as a dad. Jackson, what's it like growing up with Johnny Lewis as your father?
Honestly, man, I could obviously never ask for a better father. Like having Dad like in sports as a trainer, boxing trainer. I obviously love sports. Me and Dad would watch sports every day together, Yeah. And like through Dad, like having so many connections, I was able to meet like so many heroes of mine, like Matty Bowen, my favourite footy player of all time. Yeah. Oh man, how many times I went to change rooms after games, Bulldogs, South, like anyone, and all the players, everyone had so much respect for Dad. So
that's you see that everywhere, Johnny, and where you go, like people give you respect, and you're saying, meeting Matty Bowen or any other people that comes into your dad's life, he seems to know everyone.
And I don't know, like just anywhere you go, like even out in public, how many people just stop and...
Well, you can't. You can't walk him down the street because you just stop and chat too much. And Johnny, that's my observations. I see, senior politicians make a beeline to Johnny. I see some notorious gangsters make a beeline to Johnny. I see sports stars in completely different sports making a beeline to Johnny. What's that about, Johnny?
Most probably our money, mate. No, I don't know, mate. It's as I said earlier, if someone's a friend, they're a friend, and I find it easy to find the good in someone rather than the bad. If I didn't want to talk to him, I wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah. He does seem to collect people. I would imagine from your point of view.
Like, to be honest, like, I used to hate going to the shops with him when I was a kid because I just know whenever we went anywhere, he'd be getting stopped, and Dad's the type of person that'll sit there and talk to anyone, so most of the time it'd be half an hour. Then you'd walk on, and then another bloke would stop him, and then, you just, even like at dinners, I still remember one day at Italian Bowl, some bloke asked me to take a photo while I was halfway through my spaghetti, And I still remember I said to Dad, I'm like, I hate when people do that. And he's just like what's wrong with it, mate? He just wants a photo. That's just Dad. That's just the type of person he is, and he's always got time for everyone.
What do you think his special qualities are? What do you think makes him the person he is now?
Look, man, I don't know. I don't know the way that he can just touch so many people's lives. Everyone just seems to love him. He's and again, we're talking, Johnny, like you're not here, so we're doing. He's like a father figure to so many people. So
Do you have to remind him sometimes that you're my father?
I hope a little bit later when the inheritance gets sorted. I hope my shares. I hope not too many people are trying to chime in there. He's a father figure to everyone. Jeff, baby Pete, probably old Pete, Uncle Pete, Ella. Everyone sees him like a father.
Yeah. Okay, well, get yourself a good solution. grab that wool. Johnny, what's the thing you love about what you've always interviewed about your sporting achievements and the world that people know you for? What's the special thing about your family?
My children are paramount in my life. Every one of them I love the same, and I got a great thrill when Jackson walked through that door, and I'm very proud of Jackson. He's I've been a unionist all my life, and he's out there on the waterfront, and he's a proud union member. Jason Lynch given him the pathway to get to the top, and every one of them, young Lisa, Brent, Johnny, and Jackson, I've been a great gift with each and every one of them.
Yeah, no, it's I can see the connection, and it's thanks for coming in on this one, Jackson, because I think we just had to see this side of Johnny, because I don't know where he gets the energy to give out so much love and help to people, but you must just it comes back in spades, I suppose, and that's how you nourish yourself. So, last things you want to say to your old man?
No. I don't know, man. You put me on the spot there.
The podcast is called I Catch Killers. You've got some dirt on him. Like, the ratings would soar if we got him to confess.
No, man, I obviously couldn't have asked for anyone else to be my father. He's been a good dad.
Well, you should be very, very proud of him, and thanks so much for coming on.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Jackson.
Dad. Love you.
Love you too, mate.
Cheers. Good stuff, guys. We won't bring another guest in now because we're going to have a break shortly. But I just want to ask you something, Johnny. It's just my honest curiosity. What was it like when you took your fighters into prison? Have you got any funny stories? Because when you were taking whoever you were training or different groups of professional fighters and amateurs into the prison to fight the prisoners, what was that like?
Yeah, very good. The one thing that Brian Moore, he was his idea, and
he's with corrective services, was he, Brian?
Brian was a detective.
Right.
Chickamore.
Chickamore. Sorry.
He was captain of Newtown Rugby League. I grew up with him. I think I was 2 or 3 weeks older than Brian, and Brian was a pretty good copper, a very good copper, and let me say, I think he's a lot tougher than what they got out there today. And
I'd say so.
That's my opinion. But loved what he done in the PCYC movement. The kids that he turned around in there were absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And he was as tough as any man that I've ever seen in my life. But he had a nice side to him as well. We went in there, and the funniest thing was that young Justin Rouse, one of my favourite all-time fighters, he come from Casino. He came down, and he really was a wonderful, wonderful boxer. And anyhow, I said to him, we're going out to the prison on Thursday or whatever it was. You're going to come out. And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, you're welcome to come.
Yeah.
And he said to me the day before, he said, mate, I don't know if I should go. People are telling me that they're out there and they're out there for a purpose, and going in and see them's not part of that, I said, mate, it's not about all that. It's about there to just go out there and spend a bit of time with them and help them when they get out and know that there are people out there that care. But you do what you want to do. He said, he said, no, I won't go. I said, that's all right, mate. He said, is that all right? I said, yeah. The next day when we were there, he come out and he said, I'm going to come. And I said, oh, that's good. And he said, I won't know anyone or anything. I said, well, that's good, mate.
Yeah.
You know, make yourself known to a few others. We went in, we only got in the main section there, and there was about 3 or 4 young Aboriginal kids, and they all yelled out, cowboy! And they were all he was from Casino, they were on the far north coast.
Yeah.
Well, mate, when we were finishing going back in the bus, he said, when do we do that again? I haven't seen them for 3 years, you know. But, going into the prisons, I felt that we could do a bit of good. And it's marvellous how now, long after that, I walk down the bloke and say, oh, I met you come in and seen us when I was doing a bit of time at Grafton or here or there. It's good.
Yeah. I've got to ask you about that too. Like, you know, so many people that have done long time for a whole range of offences, but I've never seen you be judgmental on anyone. That's you just believe, you know, people will make mistakes and they've served their time and then get on with life.
No, not too many of us haven't made a mistake. It's there's a thing going on in boxing now, like they're turning blokes away from the sport because they've had a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, on that, because we were talking about that. Someone that's got a criminal record, they can't get their boxing licence to fight because that seems to defeat the purpose of boxing, pointing people in the right direction.
Well, why do they lock him up when they say he deserves 12 months and their thinking is that 12 months he should be right to come out? Well, you know, that's them that do that. And like we just lost, one fella's done so much for the fight game over the last, I'd say near 10 years here. He's had to move his family to Queensland to continue the good work he's done in boxing.
We won't mention his name, but you put him in contact with me, and it was upper levels of organised crime that he was tied to. But I sat down with him on your bringing us together and had a chat with him, and I'm not naive. I can see a bloke's changed, and he's just trying to make a go of his life, and he's still being dragged back into it because of his past. Yeah,
very, very much so. Like, and he lost so much money trying to get the TV series go. It's some of us are lucky and get some good paydays.
Yeah.
These other guys are just, there's nothing in it at all for them.
Yeah.
And this bloke was he was a giver. And anyhow, we've lost him down here. He's over the border and going very well. Yeah,
no, it's good that he's gone well despite being sort of having his earning capacity cut off, legitimate earning capacity. We might take a break now, Johnny. So this is the end of part 1. I Catch Killers with Johnny Lewis, and also a poor man's version of This Is Your Life. But we've still got a lot more to come for you. Your day's not over, so you're not walking out here free. We'll give you a bit of a rest, and then we'll find out who might else be behind the door.
Looking forward to it, Gary.
Cheers.